Mike's on.
All right, we're back. Well, after 5, Yankees win Game 1. There'll be Herman in Game 2, which will come your way in a little while. So we get ready for a 7-10 start there. Yanks win the first game behind Severino 7-4. They get a home run for Bird. They get a home run for Torres. They get a home run for the red-hot Romine, who almost hit 2 and is now batting .373 on the season. Hit a 3-run homer and a bomb to left center field after missing the foul pole in his first time up to right field. The Yankees had 7 different guys have hits. 3 of them hit home runs. Nobody had more than 1 hit in the game, but it was that kind of game, and Severino did what he does, struck out 10, walked none, gave up 4 hits, and 1 earned run over 8 innings, and it is now 9-1 on the season, 112 pitches. So another superb performance for the extremely talented Severino, who has become one of the best starting pitchers in all of baseball. John in Staten Island, what's up, John?
Hey, Mike, what's going on?
What's
Just
up?
watched the game. This Romine, they backed themselves into a problem here with him. Like, do you think he would ever demand
No, God,
to be
no.
moved?
No, God.
I know he's a nice kid. He's a really nice kid.
No, he knows.
Like,
But listen, you take that in stride. You know, he's never hit before. He's always been a very good defensive catcher. Now he's hitting. He's having a great year hitting. He knows what his role is. He's not going to rock the boat. And does that mean he doesn't want to be an everyday player? Heck, everybody wants to be an everyday player. So that time maybe comes. Maybe after the season's over, the Yankees might think of entertaining an offer for him. Maybe that happens. Who knows? You never know. But right now, he knows what his role is. But the Yankees know that they can rest Sanchez. They don't feel bad about putting in a guy who's swinging the bat like he is. And Romine can worry about, his future when he'll be going on 30 next year and go somewhere. Hey, what Romine would like to do is be the backup this year, have a great year with the bat, help the Yankees win a World Series, and then go off and try and become a starting catcher. That would be a perfect thing for him. Joe in Hartford, what's up, Joe?
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, Joe, what's up?
Good to talk to you.
What's up?
Listen, a couple of things with the Mets. The ownership is what it is. The general manager, the farm system falls on his doorstep. But I have some real issues with Callaway. I mean, to me, I see parallels with him as, the Ben McAdoo of baseball managing, that he's in over his head, that he's mismanaged the bullpen. I think he's undermining the team. I get a sense that there's going to be an undermining of the team morale and commitment to his direction. How do you feel about any of that?
Well, I have. Listen, first of all, he's way too talky. I mean, he just goes on and on and on and says nothing. Secondly, he has handled a lot of his players that you would think would have been easy for him to handle very weirdly. Blevins, you could tell, doesn't know where he is. Familia's very unhappy with the way he's been used. He's done some strange thing with the pitching staff. He's done some strange things with the bullpen. He's had a lot of issues with the lineup. He's had a lot of injuries. I don't blame him for Bruce being in a slump. I don't blame him for Conforto having a bad year. I don't blame him for Frazier Cespedes getting hurt. None of that's on him. But he's also managed the team. I mean, some days you wonder why he has a guy in a certain spot. You've watched him make some very weird moves with his pinch hitting. He's left himself, and forget the batting out of order. I'm not even going to make that. That's a clerical error. I'm not even going to get into that, okay? That's not a big deal. I mean, that's one that people will never forget, but it's not a big deal. But there are some that have been kind of weird, and then you listen to them and you're like, huh? And now with the idea that here's a guy who's been here for a little more than a third of the season and is now going to tell you about players who can and can't play in New York. Well, wait a second. You just got here. I mean, you got players who have been here before you, players who have performed here before you. So, I mean, it's almost like he has to have an explanation for everything. And I think he didn't want to get angry with his team, but I think he's gotten very fed up with his team, and he should. I mean, his team's done some really rotten, lousy things lately. It's played very badly. And in this series, they were just dreadful. I mean, just absolutely dreadful. Jack in Long Island, what's up, Jack?
Yeah, hi, Jack. Hi, Mike. How you doing?
Good. What's up?
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about what do you think the Mets' playoff chances are this year?
Playoff chances? Slim and none. Dave in Flatbush, what's up, Dave?
How you doing, Mike?
Good.
So last week when I called, I stayed away from trashing Callaway because of the injuries.
Uh-huh.
But many of the decisions, first of all, the pitching is the most mind-boggling because I thought that's what strong suit was, obviously, being a pitching coach. I thought that the other things would come following that, maybe some of the fundamentals. But in addition to the pitching not doing well and taking out DeGrom after that first inning when he pitched 40 pitches.
Well, I mean, some of the guys have pitched well in the start. I mean, lately Matz has pitched well. Wheeler's pitched better.
Lately,
DeGrom has been great. He's just pitched in hard luck.
But he's one of the best pitchers in baseball going into the season.
Yeah,
so, but what I will say is what bothers me most are the brain farts or whatever you want to call them. The whole thing with the steal home yesterday, and then the same inning to have the wrong player steal the position. These are errors that are judgmental errors. I understand the players are the ones making.
Those are on the players, though. I mean, they really are.
I think it comes from coaching when you have them across the board.
Well, I think it's more about how he's about putting players in the right spots or not putting them in. He's used Reyes very weirdly. Now, Reyes has done nothing to help himself. And I almost got the idea like he wants to expose Reyes a little bit. But, I mean, there have been days he's put Reyes at third and he didn't have to, and Reyes is not good there. And he hasn't always put guys in the best spot. He's sometimes not used very obvious moves, a certain pinch hitter against a certain pitcher, or a certain pitcher against a certain hitter. Stuff that's pretty obvious he hasn't taken that approach. I mean, not that you always have to do things by rote, but there are some that just seem very obvious that haven't happened. And it's more to me the disconnect after the game where I think he's having a hard time in his own mind figuring out what's going on with this team. So it's very hard for him to express what's going on because I don't think he's figured out what's going on. But one of the things that's very clear is he's got to get Cespedes in the lineup by hook or crook because that team can't take off until it has him in the middle of the lineup. Kenny in Staten Island. What's up, Kenny?
Hey, how you doing, Mike?
Good.
Well, Callaway, he's in over his head. You look at the lineup yesterday. I don't care who's injured. You can't have Pawlecki hitting cleanup. This guy's just a nightmare with the bat.
Well, wait a second. Well, let me ask something. I'll give you a chance yesterday. With those guys, make the lineup for me.
I would have Conforto hitting cleanup. I know he's not hitting.
But then you're stacking the lefties back to back and against a lefty pitcher.
And you know what? They had no choice but that.
Well, that's why you can't get on him that much for the lineup yesterday. He tried to space the righties where he could.
Also, the Mets always had a problem with running scaling. They never pitch out. Never. A couple of the safety squeeze was coming yesterday. The announcers called it.
Hey, listen, that's fair. Listen, he had to realize what Madden was going to do yesterday. He was not paying attention to what Madden was doing. You know Madden's MO, and you know what Madden's going to do there. I mean, and Madden. Listen, we know Madden likes to use players. That's what he does. He likes to come up with reinvent the wheel. We understand that, but Madden really had a good series and made Callaway look bad, and Callaway looked bad partially because he has no offense, and you always look bad when you have no offense.
No, I understand, but the thing is, when you got the announcers calling the plays saying this is going to happen next, and the manager doesn't see that, when Gary and
he has done it. Listen, I agree. Listen,
it's a horrible job he's done.
I totally agree. I totally agree. He hasn't done a good job, but I also have to say that nobody was going to win with this group performing the way it has, with all the injuries that he's had. But I do not think he's handled the team well at all. I have not been impressed by what I've seen so far, to be fair. Anthony in East Hanover, what's up, Anthony?
How's it going, Mike?
Good, what's happening?
It's hysterical to me. They want to talk about, or the fans want to talk about things not changing with injuries. Well, the team didn't change any of the players, so we have mostly the same team. And the biggest thing I want to talk about is, in my opinion, I really just don't see this team winning a World Series in the next year or two. And to me, if you really want to rebuild this team, because to me, if they don't do it this way, they're going to keep being the same cycle that they've been for the last 15 years. And what they really should do is after this season, they should trade as many players on the current roster as possible. And whether that's attaching guys who have bad contracts to guys who have higher value to get rid of them, then so be it. You're going to have to bite the bullet. But it starts tonight. The draft is tonight. They have great picks. And regardless of what happens this year, you make the decision a month from now whether or not you want to get a couple of guys because you're still around 500 or not. But regardless, after this season, that's it. It's got to be. They got to trade everyone. It starts with
I think the one thing they have to do is you cannot build your team around your starting pitching. It can't be done anymore. They're just too brittle. You cannot. They're unpredictable and they're brittle. And plus, even the best ones, their performance, they're minimized. Too many days. Too many days they're minimized where they throw 6 innings and they're out of the game. I mean, it just works that way. Tom in Howell, New Jersey. What's up, Tom?
Hey, Mike. How you doing?
Good. What's happening?
Hey, a couple quick Yankee things. First, I just think it's a shame that Torreyes isn't on the team and Tyler Austin still is. I just feel like Torreyes has more of a role.
Listen, they love Torreyes. You've heard the manager say it, the players say it. I mean, Judge is sending him signals after he hits home runs. He's not even here. I mean, so we know how they feel about him, and he didn't deserve to go down. But they wanted to carry 13 pitches. They are showcasing Austin. Until they figure out that Bird's going to be durable. And then, you know what? It might not be Austin. It could be Walker. I mean, one of those two will go for Torreyes. Now, they're going to Torres at short tonight. I didn't know if they wanted to go down this road. They are going to put him at short tonight in the second game.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, they are. I mean, unless they change their mind. That's what we talked about earlier today, that they were going to play him at short in the second game of the doubleheader. So that's their plan today because he's the only shortstop they have. So they were going to give Didi a day off, and they were going to play him at short in the second game.
Okay. Second quick thing, Mike. Have you gotten any inklings from the Yankees as far as what they think of the possibility of promoting Sheffield at some point this season?
I have not heard anything about any of their own pitching. Nothing yet have I heard about any of elevating any of their pitchers. Well, obviously, as we get to the Yankee-Mets series, we'll talk to Cashman, see what he's thinking. But again, remember, he's got plenty of time here. The team has a glowing record. They have plenty of time here to wait to see how the other teams shake out and see where they can make their move. Now, I've always told you that the Yankees and Mets would be very difficult to make a big deal, but I investigated that a little deeper. And what I came away with was there's no that the feeling was that if everything fit right and all the parties were agreeable, that there's no real impediments to them doing it. So there was a more favorable reaction than I thought there would be to that process. But let me say this: I still think it's a long shot because I think if the Mets ever put DeGrom on a block, which I don't think they have any intention to do, if they did, they'd be looking for Torres, and rightly so. Because wouldn't you? And if you say the Yankees wouldn't trade him, well, the Yankees got him by trading a pitcher. If the Mets are going to give you a stud pitcher, wouldn't you expect to get that back? I would. You would too. Otherwise, how do you sell it to your fan base? So I still don't think it's. I don't think it's, a strong possibility. But I went and asked the question, and what I got was, hey, it's not something we wouldn't consider. It's not like it's already off the table and it couldn't happen. I didn't get that. But I still think it's a very long shot. Really a long, long shot to it happening. Ralph in Staten Island, what's up, Ralph?
Hey, Mike, I just want to talk a little bit about what you just spoke about with the Yankees needing a pitcher.
Yeah, they do.
No doubt about it, but I think they need it sooner than later.
Why?
Because they're playing 680 baseball now and not even running away with the league. Every game is going to matter. They could play 650 ball and come in second place on this team and leave that great season on the table for one game. They need as many wins as possible now.
See, but you can't listen. You cannot make a move and then say, "Oh, I didn't know this guy was going to become available in 3 weeks." And then let him go somewhere else. You got one big. You can make a couple of moves here, But there's one big move to be had, and you want to know who the possibilities are, because that could be the difference between winning and losing. Listen, they're going to the playoffs this year. Now, I understand. Listen, you know what? Even if you could bring any pitcher in here you want, there's no ensuring that you're going to run away and hide from the Red Sox. There's no ensuring that no matter who you have here. The Yankees could play 700 ball and still not finish first, and that can happen. It probably won't, but it could. And so you can't ensure yourself that I better hurry up because I got to play 700 or 720 to win my division. Listen, that could still happen. But you want to make sure the move you make. If you weren't playing great ball, you'd say, I got to make the move now. You're playing really good baseball. Really good baseball. I mean, the record's superb. Just that the Red Sox are also playing superb baseball. That's the way it goes. And, sometimes, you could have a great year, but at least you make the playoffs. People are like, oh, I can't believe my year gets minimized to one game. Well, how about the days when it wasn't one game, when you went home? How about the days when you won 100 games and went home? Or won 99 games and went home? Here, at least you have a chance. Is it perfect? No, but it's a system. And I like it because it makes you fight for your division title. I hated going to Fenway Park and the Yankees and Red Sox tied with 3 games to play and, we don't care which way we finish. That was the worst thing that could happen in baseball. Now, here you are in June and you're worried about winning the division because you don't want to be the wild card. That's what you want. You want the wild card to be a fallback, but you don't want it to be what you're looking to do. You want to win the division, but you fall back to the wild card. But the Yankees have one big move they can make this year. Big one. And they want to make sure they know who's available. And the longer they wait, the better it is as far as scanning the field for that. Back after this.